Good morning. We're with Amanda Flower here at ACFW in Indianapolis. Very excited to meet her. She has just written the book, A Plain Disappearance. Uh, and that's just come out. That's the 3-book series. She actually has an incredible amount of books coming out. She's writing under the pen name of Isabella Allen, and she's writing Mirror Plain and Simple, and she just came out with a children's book called Andy Unexpected. So this is just an amazing season for Amanda Flower right now. I'm just very excited. So first of all, I want to ask you, how did you get started writing?
Well, I've always wanted to write. So when I was in 6th grade, we had an assignment that was, what did you do over your summer vacation?
Classic.
Yeah, classic. And I didn't do anything really exciting. So we went to an amusement park and we went on a Ferris wheel. But when I wrote the story to turn in, I turned it into like this grand mystery, like we were being chased and the Ferris wheel got stuck and we had to like climb down the side and there was firemen. And so I turned it into this, thing, and the kids in my class started laughing. So then I was like, this is it. If I can make someone laugh with a story that I told them, then I'm done. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So that it was like an aha moment at 11 or something like that.
That's amazing. That is very cool. Now we're bringing you up to adulthood. Mm-hmm. And how did you first get published?
Well, how I first got published, my first novel was Made of Murder, and it was an Agatha Award nominee for Best First, which is a traditional mystery in the ABA Market Award. It's a pretty big deal. And, that first book, I sent it to a bunch of agents, and it didn't do well. And so what I did is I contacted 5-Star, which is part of Gail Cengage, and I sent it to them and they rejected me. And then a year later, there was a new acquisitions editor and she found the manuscript on her computer. And from there, she acquired it. So it was just a complete meant to be God moment. And from there, I had that with the Agatha nomination to get my agent, Nicole Resnides, who's amazing. And then she's done everything else since then.
Wow, that's exciting. That's very. Now, how did you? Okay, I understand that you were a mystery writer at 11. How did you come up with Isabella Allen as your alias?
Well, Isabella Allen, Penguin asked me to have an alias because I was already writing Amish mystery for B&H. So Isabella is the first name of my niece, who's like my best buddy in the whole world. And then Allen was the middle name of my father. And the year Isabella was born, my father died a few weeks later. So it's kind of in tribute to both of them. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm glad they let me pick it.
That's really exciting. And now you also have children's stories. Do you have children or?
No, I don't. But my niece and nephew, my niece Isabella is 4, and my nephew Andrew is 2.
So you have perfect kids.
Yeah, and they live 15 minutes from me, and we hang out all the time. And I try to kidnap them and take them to my house. And I mean, we're very close. So yeah, they love us so much.
That's exciting. Mm-hmm. Now, what are your next projects that are on the horizon?
Well, on the horizon, I have Murder Simply Stitched coming out in June, and that is under Isabella Allen, so that's another Penguin novel.
Now, is this going to be a 3-book series?
It's a 3-book series.
What's the name of the series?
It's the Amish Quilt Shop Mystery Series.
Okay, say that 3 times.
Yeah. And it's set in Holmes County, Ohio. I live about an hour from there.
Okay.
So it's really convenient for me to go and visit the quilt shops and talk to people. And then next October, I have the sequel to Andy Unexpected, which is another 3-book series with Zonder Kids coming out, and the title's not official yet, so I'm not really sure what it's going to be called.
Now, are you going to be doing a follow-on series with B&H, or are you...
With B&H, I'm not going to be doing any more books, but we're hoping that I do plan to continue Appleseed Creek one way or another. We're just kind of waiting to hear back from some people. If not, there's always the potential that I would go another route like indie publish or something like that. So be a hybrid author. So I'm open to that too. So as long as I can get
Now,
the
what is
story
this indie publishing? What are you speaking about when you say that?
Well, it's self-publishing is becoming more accepted, I think. So I know a lot of authors, really successful best-selling authors, whose series were canceled for one reason or another. So, and then they just continued it on themselves because the readership was there and the readers wanted it. So we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't come to that, honestly, but it's always an option. It's always an option.
Now, how much involvement do you have with the Amish population? Do you have friends that are Amish? I know you go and visit there and you talk to people. Are you integrated into the community?
I wouldn't say that I'm integrated in the community, more of an observer. Right after I'm an academic librarian as well, so right after I graduated from graduate school, I moved, I took the only job that they offered me, which was for a small Nazarene college in Amish country. So I lived there for 3 years, and I had friends there that were really involved with people that left the Amish and acclimating to the English world, and how do they get a social security number? How do they get a birth certificate? They don't have any of that documentation when they leave. So that's kind of that's my connection, is more with former Amish through this family that a coworker, his family was really involved in this ministry. So my Appleseed Creek series in particular focuses on 2 characters, a brother and sister, Becky Troyer and Timothy Troyer, who have left the Amish, and how they deal with that, and how they deal with, their family and still having a relationship with their family.
I was surprised that they had a relationship with a family because some old order Amish do not allow any relationship or interaction with their family once they're shunned, once they've selected to leave the order. Is that true of the Ohio community, or is that by order? Is that by bishop? How does that work?
That's really by bishop. Really, the rule of thumb is whether they were baptized or not. So when they go
Explain the difference.
Yeah, when they reach about 15 years old, they go through Rumspringa, and that's when they can decide if they want to be baptized and join the Amish church. Once they make that commitment to join the church, they have to be, full-on Amish, committed to everything, the lack of technology and everything like that. If they decide to leave after they're baptized, then for pretty much every order across the board, they'll get shunned, except unless it's like a very, very liberal order. But if they leave the Amish before they're baptized, they can still have a relationship with their family, but there's always going to be tension there.
They're not allowed to eat at the table with their
when they're shunned.
Family,
when they're shunned. Yeah, when they're not allowed to. Like if they were working at the same job site, building a barn or something, they're not allowed to hand each other a hammer. Like a farmer could want to be giving a hammer to another person that's being shunned, he would have to set it on the table, and that person would have to pick it up because he can't directly hand it to them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it really goes from district to district. It's the bishops who decide
how intensely,
how strict it is and how hard it is.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you face as an author? I've been really blessed in my career. So,
early on, I think every writer, and I know there's so many authors here at ACFW today that they're down there giving pitches, and I remember doing that, and I remember wanting to throw up, and I remember that whole experience, and I just, I was looking down at them, and I was just like, oh, I was praying for them and hoping that they were going to be okay and be calm. But, my challenge now is just time, because I've been so blessed with so many projects that I'm just writing like a mad woman, and I work full time, which I love my job as a college librarian. So whenever I make that decision to leave, it's going to be really difficult for me. So, but maybe someday, at least before I'm 65, I hope.
Now, you add elements of murder into your stories.
Right.
Why do you do that? What is the suspense element that you are introducing to these stories? Why did you choose that angle?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a mystery author. Like, that is, I could be in any kind of setting, any type of group, but I'm probably going to kill someone.
Calling Coble.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just my genre. It's where I belong. It's where how my brain works. It's solving a puzzle. Mm-hmm. So I'm just attracted to that, and my agent and editors have pushed me to put more romance, because if you read my very first book, there's very little romance in there, but there's gotten more and more in there, so I'm getting better at that, but mystery is probably more my, natural gift.
That's your natural gift?
Yeah.
That's your passion.
Yeah, right.
Do you have a critique partner?
I have, when I started out, I did. I had several critique partners. And now I don't, because I'm writing so quickly that I didn't want to burden them. But I have a beta reader, and so it's been really helpful for comments. And then I have some other readers too before I turn it in. And also for myself to commit to reading their stuff, I just don't have the time. I wish I did. I'll read chapters of friends' books, but to really go in depth what you need to as a critique partner, mm-hmm. I just don't have the time anymore.
That's a blessing in
yes.
first.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do to get away from it all?
I'm a huge traveler, so I've been to 17 countries and 48 of the U.S. states, not Alaska and Hawaii. They're going to get done eventually. So that's what I really do. In October, I'm going to Europe for a week. So
now, have you been to Milan? Because that was one of the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been there. In this Appleseed Creek series, her best friend
is from Milan.
Yeah, she's teaching English as a second language in Italy. So yeah, I've been there, and so I'm hoping someday to do a mystery series like on travel and killing people in different countries.
That would be
fantastic.
Fun. Now, how did you come up with the name Gigabyte for the cat?
Well, part of my job as a librarian is I'm in charge of the system and the technology in the library. So when I describe stuff for Chloe in Appleseed Creek, like she goes down and checks the servers, like mm-hmm. that's what I do. I go down and check the servers.
Oh, okay. So that's a little bit of you.
Yeah. So Gigabyte just seemed to fit because she's a techie nerd, and it's so different than what an Amish person would name a cat. So I just, to show more difference between her and the Troyer family who she gets involved with. And I just thought it was a fun name for a cat.
It is a fun name for a cat. Well, I want to thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
For taking the time out to talk with us. And I love your books. I thought they were great fun to read.
Thank you.
And you have obviously a wonderful career ahead of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you have a great rest of your conference.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Oh, it's my pleasure.